Hello everyone! Today, in this video, we're going to be talking about basic nano fleets. We're going to be discussing three main questions and delve into those a little bit. Those three questions being, what does nano mean, what ships can do this nano, and how do you fly nano? Nano is a very open terminology that can mean a ship that has a micro warp drive and moves very quickly. It can also refer to ships being at very far distance and shooting at other ships while running away. However, in this one scenario, we will define it as a ship that uses a micro warp drive and low slot items such as nanofibers to move faster than other ships so that they can kite. In other words, keep a far distance from an enemy fleet while applying damage, with the ability to get away from the enemy fleet at any time. Now that we've defined what nano means, what ships can actually fly nano? Well, a lot. And a lot more. And more, and yeah, more, good, add more. And that's not all of them. Those are just the ones that off the top of my head I can think of. The third question is, how do you fly nano? Nano fleets are comprised of three components: DPS ships, anti-tackle ships, and support ships. The role of DPS ships are fairly straightforward. Shoot at anything that moves. As a DPS ship, you will rely on support ships and anti-tackle to keep you safe from small ships that you may not be able to hit. The role of anti-tackle is also pretty straightforward. Shoot at anything that comes at your fleet. You'll be hanging out near your DPS ships and kind of protecting them from anything that might come and scram them, which would slow them down to the point where the enemy fleet could get on top of them. The role of support is pretty much everything else in the fleet. This includes logi, tackle, target painters, webs, long points. This includes basically everything else in the fleet to make it function. A lot of anti-tackle ships actually have a role as support as well. Say Orthrus. It serves as anti-tackle with its rapid light missiles, but it also serves as support as a tackle ship because it has an extended reach for its point. So now that we've answered the three main questions that we set out to, we can look at what it means to fit a ship in a nano format. Alright, so I'm going to show the basics using Pyfa. If you don't know what that is, I highly recommend it. Look it up. It's a fitting tool. I'm going to show you how to use it right now. So we're going to fit up a caracal, basic nano. So caracal, and we're going to do basic nano. I already made a ship, real simple. So first step, add your micro warp drive of appropriate size. So what this does is it gets us up to 1900 meters a second. Assume 17 or 18, because you're not always going to be at that max speed. The align time is 7.5 seconds. We need to get that align time down and the speed up. And this is where the signature nanofiber internal structure comes from, because it reduces your align time and increases your speed. This is why most people call this nano fleet. It's because they have nanos in the lows. Some people actually decide to put 2 nanos on, because that makes you go faster and makes you able to actually turn and get away from things a lot easier. In this scenario, we're just going to use 1, because the caracal is already pretty agile, it's already pretty fast, it doesn't need more. So the caracal's role in a nano fleet is anti-tackle 99% of the time. So we're going to do rapid light missile launchers, and T2 because we can. And we're going to add in Fury light missiles. So that puts us up to 248 DPS. We're not going to worry about drones at this exact moment. At this point, you can fill out the rest of these holes however you want. It doesn't entirely matter. You can do a buffer fit, you can do an active fit, you can do a cap injected fit, you can put damage control and ballistic in the lows. You can put whatever rigs basically you want, as long as the fit makes some sense. But this is the basic. You have your role in the fleet fulfilled, and then you have your micro and nanofiber. It's that simple. So now let's look at an example of a nano fleet in action. So in this example, we can see that I am currently flying a Karis, which is a support ship for long distance tackle. We can see that our allied fleet has moved off the gate in a similar direction so that they're all clumped together. The hostile fleet, of course, is giving chase, which keeps them at about 0 transversal towards our friendly fleet, which allows us to move away, shooting at them with bigger guns, hitting them fairly well. Now you can see here that I pull off to go around the enemy fleet so I don't get caught, and I try and catch up to the friendly fleet so that I can give them assistance and support as my role as the Karis. So as I get closer, I keep analyzing, watching for people starting to come my direction. If anybody suddenly turns and comes at me, I'm going to move away because I don't want to get caught on my own. If you do get caught and you're on your own and you don't have anti-tackle, you're most likely going to die, because the moment your micro gets shut off, the rest of the fleet can get on top of you and kill you, which is what happens in this example with one of the allied fleet members being too close to the hostiles and not warping out before getting caught. So looking at a freeze frame of the fleet fight before everything goes horribly wrong, we can see that the hostile fleet is in one ball, moving away from the gate and towards our friendly fleet. You can see that the friendly fleet has moved off and stayed together. This way they can support one another and keep one another protected for as long as possible. If there were any heavier DPS battlecruisers on the grid, they would be on the friendly side, further away from the hostiles if possible. They want to keep as far distance away from the enemies as possible to allow the anti-tackle to do their job, which is filter anyone trying to tackle the fleet from getting close to our high DPS. And if one of the anti-tackle does get caught, the larger DPS ships might be able to assist by blowing up their tackle ship, and that will allow their anti-tackle ship to potentially pull range again from the hostile fleet. Flying as a nano fleet is challenging more so than other fleets for a few reasons, one of which being you must pilot your own ship. You have to make judgment calls to determine what direction you're going to go to most effectively help your fleet and prevent the hostiles from getting on top of you. The second thing that you have to be aware of is your placement. If you are in a bad position, you might need to consider warping away and then warping back at range so that the hostile fleet doesn't get on top of you and kill you. Another thing you have to consider is your friends. How can you help them from dying? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It all is in the moment that you have to make these very fast decisions from time to time. And that judgment for making those quick decisions comes with practice. I hope this video helps a lot. If you like the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe for future videos. If there's something that you want to see made specific about anything in EVE, let me know, either in comments below or send me a mail in game or even convo me and we can talk about it. Thank you very much for your time watching the video, and I will talk to you all later.